So I'm your Informatica PowerCentre trainer.
Venkat?
Yes.
How long is this presentation going to be?
So it will be for the next 40 minutes.
40 minutes. I need to talk with you for about 10-15 minutes. So do you have a hard stop that you have to stop, or can I wait till?
Sure. We can do that at the end of the session if you don't mind.
Okay. You let me know. I need to talk with you about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, I'm your Informatica trainer, and I have about 10 years of experience in IT, and worked in different data warehousing tools like Informatica PowerCentre, SSIS, Tableau, okay, MSTR, so on. Okay, and currently I'm based out of Chennai in India, and so working in a MNC company. So this is about myself. Okay, so we'll have the introductions of the participants, and later we'll go into the demo. Yeah, so Shiva. Shiva, are you there? Kamran?
Hi, this is Shiva. Sorry, I was speaking in mute.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I have a 6 years and 7 years IT experience, and currently I am working in USA in the customer place. So I like to one of the customer project. We like to know that migration project. So I need to learn some of the basic Informatica or something Informatica. So I am trying to do that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And Kamran. Can you hear me, Kamran? Okay. Yeah, Mohammed Khan.
Yeah, I've been with IT for about 12 years, but mostly on a BI side of it, like implementation of MicroStrategy, Tableau, Power BI. So I started on a new project, going to be lead for Informatica team.
Okay. Okay.
And well, one of the thing is that the client does have what do you call mainframe. Some of the data sources are mainframe, so I'm trying to find out.
Okay, I understood that. Yeah, got it. Kamran?
Venkat, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, I apologize. I was on a mute. I stepped out just for a minute. So, yeah, I've been in IT probably for about 6 to 7 years. Mostly dealing with the Selenium WebDriver, but we have this new project starting, and they're using Informatica for the backend testing. We're just trying to get to see what this tool does.
Right. Okay, I understood that. Yeah. So you're from Kamran? You're from which place?
Currently, I'm in Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. There is one more person, Prabhu. Yeah. Hi, Prabhu. Prabhu Chandra.
Am I audible, Venkat, now?
I can hear you, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I heard that you guys been through this business intelligence data warehouse now. I was a bit late.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please proceed, Venkat.
Oh, no, we need your introduction, so we can just go into the next one.
So I am from Hyderabad. Been working as an essential software engineer in automation and manual testing. So was interested into getting into this thing.
Okay, yeah, got it. So who's the other person waiting for name? Okay, just a second. Okay, whatever. All right. So basically, coming to the course, it's yeah. So we are going to learn about Informatica PowerCentre for the next 25 days. 25 sessions will be done, and these sessions include the data warehousing, the basic data warehousing concept for the first 2 days, and then we'll start with Informatica PowerCentre developer track, and then we'll go with the ETL testing. So the course completely comprises 3 things: data warehousing concepts, Informatica PowerCentre, as well as ETL testing. Okay, now why we are dealing with the data warehousing is that Informatica PowerCentre is a ETL tool. Okay, it's a ETL tool, or you can call it as data integration tool, which is mostly used in 2 types of projects, right? So one is a data warehousing project, and you have a data migration project. Most of the time, it means 80% of Informatica PowerCentre is basically used in the data warehousing project, and remaining 20% is, 20% is something used in the data migration project. So because of this, it is always better to know like what is the data warehouse, what is the architecture of the data warehouse, what are the different phases in it, and what kind of tables are available, and how do we model the data warehouse. This is something that needs to be understood in the first 2 or 3 sessions of the training. So once we are done with that, we'll just step into how exactly the Informatica PowerCentre works within this developer track. So how do we understand this? Do we understand this directly? I mean, with sample examples? No. So we are going to understand how the Informatica PowerCentre works with a project, with a case study. So based on the case study, so we are going to see like how it exactly works, what are the different features we have, what are the earlier versions, what is the difference between earlier versions and the current version, what are the different tools we have, and what are the different we're going to understand with the help of the case study or the project, right? And these are all the different real-time scenarios with respect to Informatica PowerCentre that we're going to see. So once we are done with this particular ETL building in the PowerCentre, then we'll go into the ETL testing track, like how do we test the ETLs. Okay, once we create the ETLs as a developer, we do perform the unit testing. Okay, once that is done, then as a ETL tester, what are you going to do? So when you're attending this training, you can you can directly work on how the ETL developer does. Directly work as an ETL developer as well as the ETL tester. So this is completely a QA, like how the ETLs are going to test it by using different strategies like smoke testing, functional testing, system testing. So these are all the different types of testings that the ETL undergoes in order to move into the production. Okay, so this is about the course training, and these are all the different things that we are going to understand. And we do have a separate Informatica admin track. So here you will understand like what the administrator is going to do. So this is a separate training altogether. So Informatica PowerCentre admin track. So basically there are 2 job roles are present here. Okay, one is Informatica developer and Informatica admin. Informatica developer and the Informatica administrator. So Informatica developer mainly deals with creating the ETLs, mainly deals with creating the ETLs in the PowerCentre tool. When it is administrator, installation, all the configuration, so a lot of stuff. You can see all the roles and responsibilities of the administrator within this. Okay, so understanding the domain, understanding the architecture, understanding different services, what they do. So based on the requirement of the project, the services has to be created. Why? Because Informatica PowerCentre is created based on the service-oriented architecture. Means you have a lot of services here. Based on the requirement, that particular service has to be created. Okay, right? So creating some extra things like IDQ services, high availability fixing, web services. These are all the different other stuff that we have as a part of the admin. But if you're working as a developer, you do not require this knowledge. Okay, admin knowledge you don't require. Only some extent, maybe some 20 to 30% of admin knowledge is required, which I am going to provide as a part of this training. Okay, right? So that is about how the course content lies. So this is the course content, and you will receive this course content from the classes team after the session is completed. Okay, right. Now, when it comes to the so when it comes to the Informatica PowerCentre, as I told you, you will work as an Informatica developer for creating the ETLs. So what is meant by ETL? So ETL is nothing but, it stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. Okay, extraction, transformation, and loading. So where do you extract the data? From the source you extract the data, you transform the data into the required business format and load the data into the target. Now you see here, transformation is something which plays a major role. So Informatica PowerCentre contains rich set of transformations where you can modify the data and convert the data into any kind of business format. So understanding the transformation is the main aspect of any ETL tool. So whether it is Informatica PowerCentre or a DataStage or SSIS, so understanding the transformation is very important. So most likely all the ETL tools that we have in the current market, they have the same set of transformations like lookup, data scrubbing transformation, so lookup transformation, data scrubbing, filter transformation. So every ETL tool has the same set of transformation, and we can see one example, one real-time case, like how these transformations are used. So we are going to understand as a part of the training, like 17 transformations, and each transformation, what is a real-time example, you can see there. Okay, so for each transformation, what are the real-time examples? So we are going to use the source as a Oracle database, and the target is also Oracle database. So you should be aware of how Oracle works. And so we'll work with the different sources like flat files, reading the data from a flat file, loading the data into a flat file. At the same time, how to read the data from the XMLs. On Teradata, no, we do not work on Teradata, but so you can make the Teradata as your source of the target. It's up to you. I'll give you the scripts, but you need to convert that script according to the Teradata. See, you don't have to worry about database here. You can keep the database based on your requirement. Okay, if your project really requires Teradata, then yes, you can work on Teradata by just keeping it as a database. Only thing is that you need to modify the scripts that I give you, okay, and create the tables. Okay, right. And when it comes to the prerequisites of the training session, it is SQL is the prerequisite. I mean, strong knowledge on SQL. At the same time, good knowledge on Unix commands or Unix scripting. So this is the prerequisite. It's a prerequisite for learning Informatica PowerCentre. Okay, not only the PowerCentre, when you go to any ETL tool, these are the prerequisites. You need to have good knowledge on SQL, at the same time good knowledge on Unix commands or Unix scripting. Why? Why Unix is because most of the time, I mean 80% of the time, you have the Informatica present on the Unix box. Okay, and the remaining 20%, it will be there in the Windows box. Okay, but whatever the platform it could be, whether it is Windows or Unix, you need to write, you need to have knowledge on scripting, how to write the scripting, the basic commands. So if you know the basic commands, you can start writing the script. So it's not a very complicated scripts you write, just a normal script like copying, moving the files, converting the files into a single format, and making use of the multiple files and creating a list file. So just a normal scripting. If you have a normal knowledge on the commands, anyway, I'm going to give you the Unix video, like what are the requirements and which commands you need to have knowledge on. So that recording I'll already provide to you. So yeah, just go through that, then you then it should be for you to understand what commands are required. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so this is the prerequisite. And when it comes to the timing, daily, I mean Monday 8:30 EST, 8:30 EST, or Tuesday 7 a.m. IST to Friday EST. Saturday EST. So this is the timing we have. So from Monday to Friday EST time zone, we have the sessions. That is weekly Fridays. But sometimes we might have weekly 6 days also. And sometimes on Sundays we might have the session. So daily 1 hour session we'll be having. So 1 hour, and the last 10 to 15 minutes we'll have the questions. Okay, and this is about the timing. And when it comes to the installation, so installation and all, big classes is going to take care, which means I'm going to take care of the installation. I'll send you the softwares. Only thing is that you need to download it, download the softwares, and I'm responsible to install that. Okay, so the prerequisite for having this Informatica PowerCentre software is that you require the database. I'm going to send the database to you, and I'll send you the Informatica PowerCentre software. Okay, and you can download it, and we can install on Windows. Okay, any of the Windows version is fine. Any Windows version, whether it is Windows 7 or XP, or 9. Yeah, so whatever the Windows version, we can have the installation. But when you have VMware, when you have a Mac machine, so we can go with the VMware. But I suggest you to have the PowerCentre installation directly in your machine instead of VMware. Okay, so this is about installation, and this is the timing, the prerequisite, and we'll have like 25 sessions, altogether 25 sessions for completing the training. So if we start today, by next month 15th the sessions will be done. Okay, yeah, 25 sessions. So these 25 sessions, what does it conclude? It contains data warehousing concepts, Informatica PowerCentre, as well as ETL testing. Okay, so this is about the course content. Are we clear so far? Any questions?
Yes, Venkat, this is Prabhu.
Yeah.
So this installation part, as you said, you will take care of it, right?
Correct.
So do we get any chance that we'll be able to get to know how this setup will go on?
Means,
I mean, while you are installing and setting up the environment, right? So
yeah, of course, yeah. So we have a separate session of that. So it will be like the installation will take 1.5 hours. So I'll be demonstrating. You can do it from your end at the same time, or you can view the recording and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And one more thing that I was not at all having any knowledge of Unix scripting. So how can I cope up with if I join this? Is there anything like I can learn and parallelly with this, or?
See, Unix is not a showstopper, but as long as you want to learn, that should be fine. But SQL, SQL is yeah. So if you know SQL, that should be fine. You can learn Unix. Unix is not a showstopper. Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you like how to practice and from where to practice. I'll tell you like Unix should be fine. Yeah. As long as you're good with SQL, yeah, Unix should be fine.
Okay, then that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff, if you go into the real time, most of the stuff, 60% is, you work on PowerCentre, including next 30%, you will be having the SQL. Okay, most of the time you'll be writing the SQL queries within the PowerCentre. Okay, else you will use the transformations. If you're not writing the SQL query, you will use the transformations. Okay, some or the other time you will have to write the scripts, but it is not, it's not a everyday task. Writing the scripts is not everyday task, but some or the other way, if you cannot do something with the PowerCentre, and if you cannot do something with SQL, then you go with the Unix scripting.
Yeah. So, and one more thing, that after completing these trainings, right? So, are we allowed to retain those softwares and practice ourselves, or is it something like we need to give it the control?
See, the software which we provide, you have the lifetime access to that. Okay. Even if your computer crashes or something happens, you can just reinstall it.
Okay.
So you'll install PowerCentre and some database, or just the PowerCentre and platform?
PowerCentre and the database.
Which database? Oracle or what?
Oracle, yeah. Oracle is the database. As I told you, if you have requirement on any other database, yes, so you can go ahead and install it. Okay. So for example, if you read the Teradata as your data warehouse, yeah, you can install Oracle and Teradata. Why? Because for installing PowerCentre, you require one license of Oracle or SQL Server or Sybase or DB2. Okay. So you require one license of Oracle or DB2 or Sybase or SQL Server. So this is mandatory. Means you cannot avoid this. You require any of the license of any of these softwares for installing PowerCentre. For configuring the data warehouse, you can use any database in the world. Yeah, whether it is Teradata or Informix, yeah, you can configure any database in the world. Yeah. All right. So, any more questions?
So you were recommending to install it directly, because I took this class before, not here, a few years back, and it was done through VMware. Is that a reason not using it? Advantage or disadvantages? Because in that case, I didn't have to worry about installing database and all those things. So I was just curious. Yeah, there's
yeah. See, we can have VMware on your mission. You can have it, but the problem is it will be slow.
Okay.
It will be slow, so it depends upon how your mission is working. If your mission is a new one and if it works fine, then you can go with VMware. But see, if you go with the direct installation, you can understand how the software works. Like
yes.
why we require the database, what is the purpose of the database, so why Informatica has the relation with the database. You can understand that. That is good to know. Yeah.
Any hardware requirements, Venkat?
Hardware, yeah, so you're good to have 8 GB and 8 GB RAM and 8 GB hard disk. This is the requirement.
Okay. Yeah. So, is it fine that if I have a 4 GB of RAM?
4 GB should be fine. Yeah, 4 GB should be. Even my system is 4 GB, so it should be fine. Yeah. All right. So this is about it. And as I told you, Informatica PowerCentre is mostly used in the data warehousing project. 80% of Informatica PowerCentre is being used in the data warehousing project. So what is meant by a data warehouse? So data warehouse is nothing but a relational database management system, which is specifically used for analyzing the business operations in order to achieve the business goals. Okay, so nowadays the data is actually present everywhere. Means you have the data present in websites, you have the data present in cloud, you have the data present in databases, you have the data present in flat files or XMLs, so we have the data present almost in every form. So whenever you have the data present in these many forms, we need one data integration application which will get the data from these different systems and place the data into the data warehouse for the purpose of business analysis. When I say business analysis, what exactly does the business analysis mean? See, basically, whenever you establish any kind of business, you wanted to analyze how your business is running. Means whether your business is running into the loss or into the profit, like what is the number of products that was sold and who are the profitable customers. So if you want to analyze all this stuff, you definitely require a data warehouse for it. Why? Because data warehouse is the database which will contain the day-to-day transactions, and based on that day-to-day transaction, you can analyze how your business is running. For example, let's say you have something called as a bank application. Let's say you have HDFC Bank, okay, and you have the bank application like this. Let's say if you want to transfer the amount to your friend, then what you do, you log in into the HDFC site, net banking, okay. So you give the customer ID and you give the password, you add the beneficiary, right, and you get the OTP, and then you can just send the amount to the whoever the recipient is. Now, whenever you send the amount or whenever you log in into this particular website, do you think the data will be resided over here? No. Where the data will be resided, where the transaction will be stored, it will be stored into the place called as a database. Right? So all the transactions that you do here, these transactions will be stored in the database. Now, what is meant by database? So database is nothing but a software. It's a software where the data is actually stored in the form of tables. So these databases, we have multiple in the market, like you have Oracle, you have SQL Server, Informatica from different vendors. So these are all the different software that we have from different vendors. Now, in order to communicate with these database, we require, SQL. SQL is nothing but structured query language, which is a set of commands where we use it for the purpose of interacting with the database. Now, these applications that we see here, you have the front end and you have the back end. When you do something into the back end, the data will be stored. So these applications is what you call it as OLTP application, online transactional processing system. So whatever you see in the current system, everything is a OLTP. Means if you want to book some railway ticket, it's a OLTP application. If you want to book a flight ticket, it's a OLTP. When you want to make some online shopping, like you go to Flipkart or Amazon or eBay, in order to buy some products, so it's nothing but a OLTP application. So OLTP application that we have, you have a lot of OLTP applications in the market. Means they are online transactional processing systems. So you have a lot of OLTPs in the market, and these OLTP applications are responsible for storing the business transactions. Now, these business transactions that we do, can we analyze these business transactions when they are present in OLTP? No. Why we cannot analyze is that OLTP always contains the current data. Means the last 6 months data will be there here. I mean, it depends upon the frequency. It could be the last 6 months or it could be last 3 months. The frequency of the data will be minimal. At the same time, you might have, kind of duplicate data might be present or missing data might be present. So you have different formats of data will be present where it is not suitable for the business analysis. At the same time, you have different standards of data will be there here. Different standards of data. So because of all the limitations that we have within the OLTP, we need to build one system which will be helpful for us for the purpose of business analysis. So that is what you call it as a data warehouse. which means, see, for example, you have a let's say you have some you have a HDFC bank, right? Now let's assume this HDFC bank has the OLTP system, which is the banking. So for example, let's say all the core banking transactions are stored in SAP. Okay, and let's assume you have HDFC credit card OLTP system is also there, and the credit card transactions, let's say they are stored in mainframes. Okay, and let's assume you have all the insurance transactions of HDFC are basically stored in, let's say, some Oracle database. So these are the places where your business transactions are stored. Means whenever a customer of HDFC performs a core banking transaction, that will be stored in SAP. When a customer performs a credit card transaction, that will be stored in the mainframes. When a customer performs an insurance transaction, which means if a customer takes a new insurance policy, that will be stored in the Oracle database, let's assume. Now, whenever you want to perform the business analysis, then what you do, you need to create the report. You need to basically create the report. Now, as I told you, we have certain limitations if you're doing on top of the OLTP systems. So because of that, what we need to do, we need to create a huge uniform database that will be useful for us for the purpose of business analysis. So that is what you call it as data warehouse. So what is meant by data warehouse? A data warehouse is nothing but it's a process. It's a process or it's a theory. It's a process or a theory which is created on top of a database for the purpose of business analysis. See, a data warehouse is nothing but a process. It's a process or a theory that is created on top of a database for the purpose of business analysis. So you created a huge database here. You created a huge database, and now you want to store all this business data into this data warehouse. How can you get the data from this system into the data warehouse? How it is possible? So that is by using the ETL process. So you extract the data from all these OLTP systems, which is called as extraction. You transform the data into the required business format, which is called as a transformation. And you load the data into the tables of the data warehouse. This is called as loading. So this whole process is what you call it as ETL process or the ETL plan, where you extract the data, transform the data, and load the data into the tables of the data warehouse. So every single transaction from the source, I mean that is happened within the OLTP of the HDFC, every single transaction we are going to load into the data warehouse. Every single transaction will be loaded here. Okay, so how does these ETL processes are created? By using the ETL tools. So we have certain ETL tools are there in the market, like Informatica PowerCentre. This is from Informatica Corporation, and you have DataStage. This is from IBM, and you have SSIS from Microsoft, and you have so Abnisho, and you have freeware tools like Pentaho, and you have Talent. This is also another freeware ETL tool. So these are all the different ETL tools that we have in the market, where any of the ETL tool can be used in order to read the data from the source, transform the data, and load the data into the target. So out of all the other ETL tools that we have in the market, why we need to go for Informatica PowerCentre? Why? Because Informatica PowerCentre is flexible to use. Means you have multiple client tools in the PowerCentre, where in each client tool we do a different things. Which means in one tool we create the ETL, in another tool we call the ETL, and we will basically run it. So when you run it, you have a separate tool where you can monitor all the jobs which are basically running. So we have a separate tool within the PowerCentre, which does the things. At the same time, it is very flexible to understand how the Informatica PowerCentre works. Very flexible to understand. So when it compares with the other ETL tools, the flexibility in learning and the flexibility in creating is pretty much higher than the other ETL tools. And at the same time, Informatica PowerCentre is the fastest one, means it can process the data very quickly. So whether it is 1 million or 10 millions of data, 1 million of records can be processed within some 1 minute, 1 minute or less than 1 minute. It can process the huge volumes of data. Okay, the speed of Informatica PowerCentre also something which make which is basically making the most of the projects to be created on PowerCentre. Okay, so this Informatica PowerCentre tool is from Informatica Corporation. And there are a lot more other tools from Informatica Corporation which are playing a key role in the data warehousing environment, which means you have something called as a data quality. Data quality is another tool, and you have application ILM, you have Informatica Cloud, you have ultra messaging system, and master data management. So you have a lot of other tools from Informatica Corporation which are also playing a key role in the IT projects. Okay, so this is about how you do it. So you will use the Informatica PowerCentre, you create the ETL process, and you load the data into the tables of the data warehouse. Now you can create this data warehouse on any database. You can create literally on Oracle, you can create it on Teradata, you can create on MySQL, you can create on Informix. So you can create basically the data warehouse on any database in the market, any database. Okay, you cannot create data warehouse on a flat file system. No, it's not possible. You can create it only on the database. Okay, now since you're loading the data every day into this, you have the historical data will be present, and based on the historical data, you can basically understand how your business is running. At the same time, you can compare your business with a different time period, which means you can compare today's business with yesterday's. You can compare monthly business, which means this month to last month, this quarter to last quarter, this year to last year. So you can basically compare your business with any point of time because you have the data warehouse containing the historical data. So you have the time wherein data is present. For example, let's say you have the data warehouse containing the data from 1995. If we started implementing the data warehouse from 1995, it contains 1995 data, 1996 data, 97 data, up to 2017. Up to 2017, what is today? November 14. Up to today, the data will be present in the data warehouse. So we have the time wherein data will be present within the data warehouse, which makes the data warehouse where you can access the data of any time period or any time frame. So this is about how the data warehouse works, and there are a lot of users of the data warehouse, which means you can analyze your business, like whether your business is going into the profit or loss, and you can understand like how the business is performing, whether you want to go for the improvement or you want to go for the new establishments, and you can understand like who are the profitable customers, which are the profitable products, which is a popular insurance product. If people are not concentrating on a particular insurance product, you can discard it from the you can discard that portfolio completely. So these kind of analytical decisions you can take by using the data warehouse in place. So once the data warehouse is loaded with the data, in order to present the data, we have a separate phase. So that is called as a BI phase. We have a separate place called as BI, business intelligence. So within this business intelligence, what do we do is that we basically create the report or dashboard, okay, in different formats. Means you keep the data in the pie chart or in the bar graph or in the line diagrams or in the tabular format. So you represent the data in different formats in the dashboards or the reports, and these reports will be created by reading the data from the data warehouse. So the data from the data warehouse will be read, and the data will be represented in different formats, and these reports or dashboards will be accessed by the business users of the company. So we have different reports will be created, like the sales reports or the HR reports or the finance reports or the depletion reports, So we have different reports will be created, and these reports will be created by reading the data from the data warehouse, and the business reports will be used by the department specific decision makers in order to understand how the business is working. Now, for creating these business reports, you have certain BA tools up there. What are the BA tools? Cognos is a BA tool. SAP BO, Business Objects, so MicroStrategy, Tableau, okay, ClickView. So these are all the different BA tools that we have in the market. And these BA tools, how they are used? They are used to create the business reports by reading the data from the data warehouse. Okay, so this is the basic architecture, like how we have. So you have the client's data will be always present in the OLTP. Then what do we do? We have the data warehouse is present. By using the ETL tool, by creating the ETL process, the data will be loaded into the data warehouse. And once the data is loaded to the data warehouse, for presenting the data, we have a separate phase called as BI, Business Intelligence, where the business reports are created from the data warehouse, and they will be accessed by the business users of the client, business users of the company. Okay, so this is how it works. Now, in order to create this ETL process, we have, as I told you, we have certain client tools are there. Informatica PowerCentre client tools. You can see them here. PowerCentre Designer, Repository Manager, Workflow Manager, and Workflow Monitor. So these are the 4 PowerCentre client tools which are used to perform the ETL process. Let me open the designer. So this is the place where we design the ETLs. Okay, so PowerCentre Designer, let's see. Okay, now we see here. So these are all the sources that we have. I mean, when you import the sources, that will be there here, and these are all the targets that we have. And so these are the ETL process. ETL process in the sense, yeah, ETL plan. So you have the source. You can see source definition. Source definition is something. This is the place where you are reading from, source, and you're loading the data into the target definition, and this is the target which is present in the data warehouse. Okay, so these are from the sources. What are your sources? Your source is a relational database, and you have another source which is a flat file. So you brought both the sources into the PowerCentre, and these are all the different transformations that you have it here. So using these transformations, what are you doing? You're transforming the data. So there are multiple transformations which you can see. So these are all the different transformations that we have. So all these different transformations that you see here, so these transformations basically they transform the data, and whatever data that is required, based on that the transformations will be used, and the data is transformed and loaded to the target. So your target is the data warehouse table. Okay, so these are all the sources, and you can have multiple sources at the same time. You can have multiple targets. Okay, and the transformations are used based on the requirement, right? And yeah, so you have another client tool also, like a workflow manager. So within this workflow manager, you create some other tasks. Okay, some other tasks here, and these tasks, you can schedule these tasks. You have a task called as a workflow. So this is the task which you're going to schedule in real time. Okay, so these tasks will be scheduled, and when you run this particular job here, and you can see automatically there is another client tool called as a workflow monitor. So this is the workflow monitor, means you can monitor the jobs here. Even if you're working in a production support environment, your jobs, I mean, you're going to monitor your jobs from this particular area. You can see like why the job is failed, why the job is succeeded, and what is the error message, and what are the number of source records that are extracted, what are the number of source target records that are loaded, and why the error message came, what is the session log. So all the things you can understand about the failure or the success of a particular job by using the workflow monitor window. Okay, so you have basically 4 client tools are there, and the navigation from one client tool to another client tool is also easy. You can see, so this is how you do the navigation. You can see that here. Okay, so each client tool is represented with a letter. So D as on designer, R as on repository manager, W as on workflow manager, and M as on workflow monitor. So these are the 4 client tools that we have it. Okay, yeah, so this is about how you do the ETL creation within the Informatica PowerCentre. Okay, right. And as a part of the training, we are going to provide you even the material. You can see here, this is the Informatica PowerCentre material, which contains all the lab works. At the same time, you have the interview questions, Unix interview questions, ETL testing, and if you want to practice Oracle queries, and you have the Oracle material as well as the queries here. You can see this is the material which we are going to provide you. At the same time, we'll provide you the Teradata material also. So along with this, people who are who want to brush their knowledge on SQL, I'm going to provide my SQL videos. Okay, my SQL videos that will tell you like what are the important things that you require as a part of the SQL. Okay, and so those SQL videos will be sent to you people. Okay, SQL videos will be sent. Unix recording will be sent for understanding how the Unix works with Informatica PowerCentre, and along with all the material which I have shown you. So those will be sent to you. Okay, so this is about the demo, and if you have any questions, please go ahead. Yeah, any questions? Are we clear so far? Yes. Vipul, are you clear so far? Any questions?
Yes, I'm clear. So Venkat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my situation is the project that I'm working on, they have mainframe as a source and Greenpalm is the target. So I'm not sure that if this is the right class for me, and if you could direct me to the right class or something. So I'm familiar with PowerCentre, not very much, but some idea type of thing. But I need to get exposure to Power Exchange.
Okay.
So, does it mean I need to take a different class, or can you accommodate something? Or basically, I need to get exposure to the Power Exchange.
So basically, Power Exchange. Okay. You mean mainframe's Power Exchange, right?
Yeah. So it's coming from IBM. The source data is coming from IBM mainframe to Informatica, and client is using Power Exchange for that. And I never touched Power Exchange in my life.
See, basically how it works is the Power Exchange, mainframe Power Exchange. I worked on SAP Power Exchange, but I did not work on mainframe. But the thing is, see.
So when you pull data from mainframe, so the data how is it different from relational database or flat file when you're pulling from mainframe?
Well, they're different in the sense. See, you're working. This is a data warehousing project.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when it is a data warehousing project, you don't have to much struggle on the kind of data you have, because anyway, once you bring whatever the mainframe file or mainframe view that you have, okay, into the Power Exchange is something. See, why do we go for the Power Exchange? Yeah. Why do we go for Power Exchange is that there are certain things where PowerCentre cannot handle, which means when you want to read the data from mainframes, when you want to read the data from SAP, when you want to read the data from AS400, if you have any type of special sources like this, PowerCentre cannot read the data, actually. It cannot read the data. So for that purpose, we have to integrate Power Exchange along with the PowerCentre. End of the day, you'll work on the PowerCentre only.
So first PowerCentre connects to the mainframe, and then PowerCentre connects to the Power Exchange. Is that the way high level it works? Or?
See, like how we have here, see here, this is the PowerCentre tool, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you see here, these are the sources where I can connect. Means I can read the data from database, from a file, from a COBOL file, from a XML. In the same way, if you have SAP Power Exchange, then you see the option import from SAP.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the mainframe Power Exchange, then you will see the option called as import from mainframe. That is the difference.
So the way in the organization they will have set up. So when you went to the drop down, the source drop down that you just showed, there will be another place to say connect to mainframe Power Exchange or something like that.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then you take over that Power Exchange. Can you click on that source, please? Yeah. So there will be another row here that will say import from Power Exchange.
Mainframe Power Exchange.
Mainframe Power Exchange.
Right.
Then in a Power Exchange itself, what do you do?
You give the details. Means see where your mission is present, the node. Okay, the node which is present, and you have to basically select the access method, how you want to get it, and provide the schema name. Okay, and
so for
the data
mainframe has a schema name.
Yes. You have to, I mean, that is something that will be done from the mainframe end. So you're not concerned with that. So basically from the mainframe team, okay, whoever managing the mainframe data, they'll give you the access details of that particular mission. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to provide those details within this and you can start reading the data. So that's it. So once the data comes into the data warehouse, which means into the staging area, then from that you'll just work on the PowerCentre itself. The main agenda, what happens is that, see, when you have the source as a mainframe, from the mainframe, for example, this is the mainframes, right? So you cannot directly connect with the PowerCentre. So that's the reason you use Power Exchange. Okay. Power Exchange, you integrate with the PowerCentre, then you can read the data from the mainframe. Now, once the data from the mainframes to the database, when it comes, from here, you can directly load into the data warehouse. From here, you will use obviously the Informatica PowerCentre only the PowerCentre.
So you're showing that thing that you just draw. So from mainframe, you use Power Exchange, and with Power Exchange, from Power Exchange, the PowerCentre grabs the data, and then it does its stuff, whatever it needs to do, right?
Correct. See, this is your mainframes. Okay. PowerCentre cannot read the data from the mainframe. Right?
Okay, good to know.
Okay. For that purpose, we require the mainframe Power Exchange. Okay, which needs to be installed separately, other than PowerCentre. Okay. Mainframe Power Exchange.
In real life, not the training, but in real life, in production environment, it will be in a different. It could be in the same server as where the PowerCentre is installed, or is it a client machine? You need to
see. Basically, what happens is you have Informatica client and Informatica server. Two softwares are there here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Understand this clearly. Two softwares are there. One is PowerCentre client. One is PowerCentre server. Okay.
Yes.
So PowerCentre server, wherever you have this PowerCentre server, see, both will be there in two different missions. PowerCentre client in one mission, PowerCentre server is in another mission.
Yes.
So wherever you have the PowerCentre server, this is the place where Power Exchange will be installed.
Okay.
Okay. Power Exchange will be installed. So when you install Power Exchange here, then what happens within the client system, within the clients, whatever I have shown you, these are the four clients, four client tools. These tools will be there in the PowerCentre client.
Yes.
Okay. So within this PowerCentre client, you can start reading the data from the mainframe. That's what I mean.
Okay. Okay. So how is the mainframe data different than, because like I'm very familiar with how, how it looks in an Oracle database and all those things.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not sure about it. I did not work on mainframes. Yeah.
I see.
But I believe it will be pretty much the same. You have the just it depends upon what kind of project it is. What is your project?
It's a government project, a lot of data.
I mean, what domain is that?
Finance.
Finance data. Okay. Yeah. So if you have worked on the finance data, it will be pretty much like that. You don't have anything different.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if you're loading into the database, you will understand it, like what kind of data is there. Maybe you cannot understand your source data when it is in the source because you cannot see that because it's in the mainframes.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot see that. Once you move that data into the staging area, you can understand what data it is.
Okay. So when you read the data, so looks to me sounds like that Power Exchange is more of a back end than a front end type of thing. That what I mean by that is when you're reading the data, you're basically saying to PowerCentre that, hey, this is the data you need to read, and you showed me that drop down where it says Power Exchange, mainframe thing.
Correct.
So it is more of a configuration from the administration part than a developer part, as well.
Of course, right. Of course, correct. Only thing is that you need to provide the details. So what is the which driver you're using? Where is the location?
Where?
What is the database of that? What is the database of that?
So that can you go back to the PowerCentre that screen, that source screen, please?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see that yet. Okay. So if you could go to the source, and let's click on the Power Exchange.
So this is not there.
So whatever the credential and all those things that it asks, you just provide those things over here, and I can get that from the mainframe people. And that's about the extent knowledge that you need, because now PowerCentre is reading that once I provide those information. Is that right?
Right, exactly. See, if I click on import from database, what I have to do, I have to give the database details from which I want to get that data from. I want to import the tables from. In the same way, Power Exchange will allow you to import the data from the mainframes. If you have Power Exchange of mainframes. So that needs to be, that Power Exchange software which is there, that needs to be installed in both the cases, means in the mainframe mission as well as in the Informatica server mission. Both the places Power Exchange should be installed.
Yeah, so I'm not the administrator or things, and this is an old project, so they have those things. Basically, what I'm doing, my position is going to be take over the current existing O&M type of thing. So these things are already set up there. So that means I don't need to know how to configure them from a developer.
Yes, of course, yes.
And once it is set up, all I'm doing is providing the credentials like a schema name, password, user ID, and things like that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. I mean, if you just go to YouTube and check how the Power Exchange for mainframes work, then you can understand. I mean, you'll get an idea, like how exactly it works. Maybe I'll check with my colleagues. Okay, how it works.
That would be great. At least on a high level kind of thing. So, because if you kind of direct me towards, I mean, I have some help I can get from those people, but I need to find out for myself, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay. So one thing you cleared for me, because I wasn't worried about that where the Power Exchange goes. Once the Power Exchange is installed, then I'm going to see that there.
Right. Understood that. Yeah.
And I know that for the class, you're going to help us install and all those things. From my work, I would just ask them for a binary, and then when I install it and I put the proper connections, then I'm going to see the power automatically, I guess, because the fact I'm connecting to Informatica server, or is there something else?
I'm sorry, I lost your voice.
I think I didn't ask you the question properly also. So at my work, when I go, and so the very first day at work, so they give me a laptop, and they tells me, here is the binary files for Informatica Informatica PowerCentre, right? So I install the PowerCentre, then I configure the connections.
Okay, see, basically, you do not need to install anything. You don't have to install anything, because in most of the cases, you have you will work on the PowerCentre clients for designing the ETLs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So these PowerCentre clients will be kept in a separate mission.
Yes.
You just have to go into that mission and work on it. Configure the connections where you want to connect and build the ETLs. Okay. The main thing that you need to do is that configuring the connections, getting the requirements, okay, from the client, like what exactly that you have to do, which ETL you want to create, and what is your source, what is your target. Just the normal business understanding of the domain knowledge. So based on that, you have to create the ETLs. So you don't have to install anything.
So no, but PowerCentre is a client tool, right? So PowerCentre, you have to install the PowerCentre in your local machine, isn't it? In my laptop.
It depends. It depends whether you go to the other mission completely to create the ETLs, or sometimes it will be there in your mission. Yeah. In that case, based on the question you were asking, if it is not there in any other mission, PowerCentre clients is not there in any other mission, then you have to install in your mission.
Yeah, but so my question is, in that stage, me as a developer, I just install the PowerCentre and configure it, and as a result of that, I'm going to see the power exchange automatically in the source. I don't have to do anything special for exchange. That's
exactly.
Okay. Okay, you answered my question. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Yeah, Prabhu, Vipul, Shiva.
They might have left.
No, they are there. Yeah. Prabhu?
Yeah, I think we are good, Venkat.
Yeah, Shiva.
And one more thing, Venkat, I just forgot to ask you. The sample cases and the projects, so are we going to look into them? I mean, the real-time cases, how the industry runs and all?
Yeah, sure. I mean, see, this is not the sample cases. Okay, so as I told you, we are basically performing the real-time cases itself. Okay, real-time cases, how the transformation works. Based on, so if you understand how the transformation works, then you can apply the same strategies when you go to the real-time. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's more of, I just cover every property of the transformation within a single example. Okay.
Sure. So yeah. So as you said that we are taking care of 17 transformations, right? Yeah. So I would like to know, I mean, basically, how many transformations are available with this PowerCentre?
A lot of transformations are there. But out of all these transformations, I tell 17. But within these 17, only 5 transformations are very frequently used. Other transformations, it depends.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Yeah. Most of the things will be done by the SQL itself. Most of the thing. Okay. So you have to be very familiar with SQL. Yeah.
Venkat, this is Shiva. Actually, I have one question. If we are installing our PowerCentre in our system, so our system is act like a client. Am I correct? For this classes?
Or
otherwise, our system is going to be like a server and as well as the client.
Both actually.
So we need to do our server configuration as well as the client configuration. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
But in real time, you have the server in one place, client in one place.
So that time I need to give like a connection information, like say that, okay, this is a destination and this is server location and the user ID and password. So it can be accessed in our system. So my system will work as a client.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, Vipul? Vipul, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Yes, Vipul. Yeah.
I
Any
don't have
questions?
any questions.
Okay. Yeah. Kamran left, I guess. Yeah. Who's the other person? Waiting for name. I don't see his name.
Full name is A.
Okay. So Vipul, basically, you joined little late, right? So what are you up to? I mean, what do you do? Where
Oh
are you
no,
from?
I just had got this email saying there is a demo class you want to do,
Mhm.
and just join class here, and just trying to see if this is something I want to do or not.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah. All
Today
right.
is the only demo
Yeah.
class. There will be tomorrow also.
So it's yeah, demo session is today. We'll start the regular session. I mean the first session from tomorrow. The regular sessions will start from tomorrow.
Who would I need to talk to regarding like classes and all other stuff?
Yeah, big classes. Anyway, I mean after the session they are going to contact you. Yeah. So you can. Yeah, Ashwini.
Vipul,
Go ahead, Ashwini. Yeah.
yeah, Vipul,
I kind of lost her there.
yeah, you just ping me to ashwini@bclasses.com with your contact number. I'll be calling you and update about other details. Okay.
Okay, and what time should I call you? What would be the best time?
See, I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, you can call them after the session, Vipul, or maybe you're from which place, Vipul?
Yeah, I'm from East Coast.
Okay, yeah, you can call after the session, or if you give your email ID and phone number, they're going to call you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what? So Ashwini, who is the other person joined? Waiting for name.
Aishwarya, sir.
Yeah. Aishwarya, can you hear me? Aishwarya? Okay, maybe she has some problem. Okay, should be fine. Yeah. So that's all for today, guys. Yeah.
I have a question here. So you said this session will be for 25 sessions.
Yeah.
Right. And
Correct.
I heard you said you'll be talking about PowerCentre Designer and the testing, right? QA portion.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me how much time would be for development and how much for QA?
See, I mean, see, basically, the first sessions will be with the data warehouse. I mean, it will be like 2 sessions will be there. 2 sessions will be there for the data warehouse. Once that is done, we'll start with Informatica PowerCentre developer track. Okay, this developer, I mean, the complete development will take almost 25 sessions itself. Okay, so the first sessions will not be considered, because these are the fundamentals. Okay, I do not consider this as a classes, but the remaining Informatica PowerCentre, it will take like 25 sessions altogether, plus 2 with data warehouse, and you have another 2 with ETL testing. Okay, so ETL testing, it depends upon the people whether they want to attend or not. Sometimes, there will be attendees who wanted to take this. If they want, they can attend it. Else, they'll just leave it. So the last 2 sessions will be the ETL testing. Okay, so altogether it will be 30 sessions. 30 sessions with the data warehouse as well as ETL testing. Yeah.
And how proficient do we have to be in SQL?
Yes.
What is the expectation on the proficiency level for SQL?
It is good to have very good knowledge because most of the stuff will be there in the SQL itself. I mean, if you go to real time, instead of using the transformation, most will be done by the SQL itself. So that's the reason SQL is a prerequisite. Proficient level in the sense you should be very good with SQL functions. Okay, functions. You should be good with joins, subqueries. Okay, stored procedures, and yeah. So these concepts you should be good with these.
And you said you have separate videos or documents.
Right. I'll send them. I mean, as a part of the training. So once the formalities are completed, the materials will be sent, and the SQL videos will also be sent.
Okay. No questions.
So Venkat, does the videos cover these functions, joins, and the stored process and all?
Correct. Yeah. Whatever is required, so that will be covered at a very detailed manner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Venkat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just Googling the YouTube for the Informatica Power Exchange for mainframe. Couldn't find anything. So when you get a chance, you look into that what might be the good source for me to get.
Sure. I'll check it.
For mainframe to Power Exchange.
I'll do that.
Because I'm just Googling, I not Google. I have the book, but I think I want to watch a video or something if they already have something there also. Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't cover it. I didn't see the syllabus, but you will cover when a job fails, how to read.
Yes. Everything will be done. So yeah, so everything will be done. I'll tell you like how to fix the job, what kind of errors will be facing.
Yeah.
So I'll tell that.
Yeah, I kind of figured, but I thought I'd just ask. Okay, I'm good with that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So that's all for today. So you can join the session at the same time tomorrow to the same link. Okay, same link, same time tomorrow.
And you will get. I will be able to get a recording for each class, right?
Yes. Yeah. So every day the recordings will be uploaded to the Google Drive. And yeah, so every day it will be uploaded. So you will receive the Google Drive link, and yeah.
So for first couple of classes that you have the data warehouse, instead of spending time there, I want to start freshen up my Linux command Linux command that you were talking about. So you'll be able to put them in once the payment is there and everything else, right? Or do I have to wait for a few days?
Not required. Yeah. So once the formalities are completed, the information will be shared to you. Yeah. The material will be shared to you. Yeah. I mean, if you're good with the database and concepts and all, then you can skip them. You can directly attend from the.
Yeah, I might want to skip that time and try to freshen up the Linux commands.
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right.
I'm good with it.
Thank you, guys. Tomorrow, same time, same link. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Vipul. People, are you able to hear me? Hello, Vipul. Hello. People, can you respond?